So this might surprise some people because in the past I was hard on Deion Sanders. I've kind of flipped that, I have to say. But I really like Sheuder Sanders. And what I mean is I don't know him personally. I don't even know enough about Colorado football to say, oh, he's going to be this and he's going to be that. He just seems likable and he seems like he gets it. He seems very engaging. He seems smart. He seems hospitable. Like he just seems like a very, very, very likable young man. And I have to say, having been around, I do not like the way the draft chatter is shaping up for him. And if I am him, Sheuder Sanders, I don't think I go to the draft to be sitting there. I just don't think I do it. I feel like there's a shot he falls into the second round, which, I mean, not that long. In a way, he kind of reminds me of Malik Willis a few years ago, where people were talking about Malik Willis as possibly early on a top 10 pick, top 5 pick, and then he fell and fell and fell. And I remember covering the draft in '96 when Keyshawn Johnson went number 1, and Texas A&M had a really good running back named Leland McElroy, and he was at the draft in New York City. And it was just sad watching it fall and fall and fall and fall, and he's just sitting there, and the camera goes to him. The Aaron Rodgers thing, the same thing. The camera goes to you, and you're sitting there, and you look pathetic, and you look sad, and it just breaks your heart. I don't know. If I'm Deion, now maybe you're like, fuck that, I'll take whatever is dealt because I can take it. But if I'm Deion or I'm Sheuder Sanders, I might think about not going because I don't know. If the Saints don't take you early or someone doesn't trade up, it might be a long, long afternoon. And for the rest of your career, if you become a bust, that becomes, the number 1 video of you sitting around waiting. And if you become Aaron Rodgers, it also becomes the number 1 video of you sitting around waiting. I just don't think it's worth it. I really don't. Maybe it's a great moment and you want to be there. I get that. I don't know. If I'm Sheuder Sanders, and actually if I'm Jackson Dart too, I don't think either of those guys, if they're agents or wise, are sending them to the draft to be there. I just stay home with my family and watch on TV.
Here's what a publicist thinks of Sheuder in the NFL draft. We're going to call a spade a spade. The most offensive thing that Sheuder can do is have the audacity. He has no violent offenses, no charges, no drugs, no scandals. Because he's young, black, comes from a family that doesn't need money, and is unapologetically taking up space, he's all of a sudden an issue, a fit problem. Have you seen an NFL locker room? The rhetoric around him needing to tone down or not shine so bright. Sheuder Sanders coming in is no more abrasive, aggressive, dominant, assertive than any other one, especially at the QB position. This humiliation campaign, it's something deeper. It's something more sinister to me. A young boy that needs to learn how to quote unquote act right in a league with mostly white, rich men at the helm feels nasty.
If you ain't trying to change the franchise or the culture, don't give me. So you should know history repeats itself over and over and over, and I've done it over and over and over, so it should be no question why an NFL franchise should pick me. You think I'm worried about what critics say or what people gotta say? You know who my dad is? They hated on him too. So it's like it's almost normal. Without people hating, it's not normal for us. So we like diversity. We like everything that comes with the name. That's why we are who we are.
Sheuder had a rough first day of school. Got to talk to the young fella. Let's come on in the weight room. Let's blow off some steam. How you feel? Hey, tell me what's wrong. Come here. What's your last name?
Sanders?
What does Sanders mean?
My last name?
That we're confident, that we're tough, we can make it through anything. I knew changing schools was gonna be hard on grown, but times like this, baby, it makes a young fella grow up and get a little tougher. We're Sanders, man. That's who we are.
It was a bad day for me because I really didn't know that many people. So whenever you don't know that many people, it's not gonna be that fun.
You're a strong kid, buddy. You're not? Why you don't think you're strong? Sheuder has to get motivated. Sheuder has to dominate what's ever ahead of him. This is just one of many hurdles that he's gonna cross or come across in life. Over your head. Over your head. By yourself. You did that by yourself. It's just like life. You think I'm gonna let something take advantage of you? Huh? That's what a daddy is. I'm here to protect you, to guide you and lead you. I got you, man. You understand?
Sheuder Sanders is not blameless here. Primetime Deion Sanders is not blameless here. I'm going to say what I have to say, knowing that both of them have their hands at least a little bit dirty in all of this. But if you're the National Football League, clearly it's not about talent anymore. It's about something else. And I'm going to tell you, I spent a large amount of the last 24 hours thinking about nothing more than I was thinking about collusion. Because how in the hell does 32 teams in the National Football League pass on a quarterback that was universally recognized one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the country entering this draft, and 32 teams passed on him? Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 different times they passed on him. How the hell does that happen? 4 rounds. It doesn't happen to a quarterback. We've never seen anything like this before. We've seen guys drop because of injuries. We've seen guys drop because of off-field issues, but we've never seen a quarterback projected to be a top 20 pick, universally recognized one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft, projected to be a first rounder, in all likelihood a safe bet of a late first rounder, and drop literally to the 5th round. We haven't seen anything like that. And when you're talking about the owners, I'm going to keep in mind, and I tweeted about this, seems very Kaepernick-like, as in Colin Kaepernick.
I just want to say I'm late to this, but I just saw the Ole Miss frat boys who prank called Sheuder Sanders and pretended to be Mickey Loomis from the Saints. And I get being young and dumb, but that's just fucking mean. Like, that's actually mean. That's cruel and not funny. And I honestly hope these guys get exposed. I'm not saying I want their lives to be ruined or anything like that, but that's serious bullshit. And the callousness of that. Like, Sheuder Sanders is a 23-year-old college kid. I get it, he has money and a famous dad, but that's just mean. I couldn't even believe, it's so mean. I don't know. I guess when you're young and you're dumb and you do immature things, I guess. But the cruelty of that, I don't understand. I'll never understand. I hope those guys are shamed. I saw the video of it, so everyone knows what they look like. I hope their names get out. I hope they suffer from the same embarrassment that Sheuder Sanders probably felt in that moment. It's bullshit.
Hello?
You got that call?
Yeah, what's going on?
Ready to go!
Say it one more time for me.
This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints.
How you doing?
Good, how are you, man?
Good, been waiting on you.
Ready to go!
Yeah, we have. It's been a long wait, man.
No, for sure.
We're gonna take you with our next pick right here, man.
Yeah. Yes, sir, let's be legendary.
But you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, man.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Ready to go!
What does that mean?
What? What did he say?
I don't know.
How you gonna ask us what it means and you was on the phone?
You heard that?
You said you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. Sorry about that.
I saw Sheuder Sanders' phone number on my father's iPad and I wrote it down and did the prank call. So you mean to tell me you didn't get permission from your father to take Sheuder's number? You mean to tell me your father didn't know you took Sheuder's number? Sheuder said, Art, that was a new phone. Sheuder said, I just got the phone. He only had the phone for 1 or 2 days, maybe 3. How in the hell did you get the new number in 3 days? Your father gave it to you. Your father gave it to you. But your father don't want to get in trouble because he works for the NFL and you don't work for the NFL. So it only makes sense to blame you. And now to cover the story up, Art, now they're saying other players were prank called. Now they're saying white players. You know why they're saying that, Art? Because they don't want this to look like what it is. They saying that, Art, because they don't want this to look like the racist attack that it is on the Sanders family. That's what this was about. Ain't nobody else get no prank call. This was for Sheuder. But y'all have to make it look like it was draft wide so it doesn't look like racial discrimination. I hope they sue, Art. And then on top of that, damage control. Now they got executives from the different NFL teams, Art. Now they got executives, Art, from the different NFL teams saying, well, reports are coming out. Reports are coming out that Sheuder Sanders didn't do well during his interview. They said he kind of finessed the interview. They said that if he wasn't interested in the team, he didn't even act like he wanted to answer their questions. I don't believe that at all, Art.
I don't understand football, but I do understand racism. And when a whole bunch of white boys under ghost accounts and father and married accounts are excited that a black man got humbled in a sport that they could never, ever do, I know there's racism afoot. They are so excited to see a man say, I just want to ball. I don't want to rap no more. I don't want to be on stream. I just want to ball. You are happy that they humbled him. But what's funny to me about this whole, he needs to be humbled, he's primetime son, again, I don't know nothing about football, I just know about racism, is that man is still, right now, that young man with a cute face, 2-parent household, is wealthier than you. Even if he never got drafted, he has more money and education than you, and that is what is really eating them alive. If he never gets on that field and runs around after that ball, he's still better than you.
You know, this feel like
What?
just people that just be in jail for something they ain't do, bro. And like, there's no explaining, there's no talking about it, reasoning. Like, bro, it'd be funny, some of the memes, though.
No, I do.
Hey, there's some, I went in the NFL, I went in the meeting, like, who is it, Bobby Sheuder? He was on the table.
Oh, yeah, when he was performing for the label.
They said that's how Sheuder must have pulled up to his visits.
I was on the edge of my seat waiting for his name to be called because he is him. He is he. He is it. He should have gone first overall. And the NFL should be ashamed of itself for what it has now done over 3 rounds of the draft to Sheuder Sanders. I'm so sickened and I'm so saddened over what this league just did to this kid and in turn to his father. I've been doing this for a long time. You can look at my track record on the draft. I'm pretty good, especially at the quarterbacks, at picking the quarterbacks. I would have taken Sheuder Sanders first overall, and I dug in on this before the college football season even started. It was outrageously obvious that he's the best thrower of the football in the draft. He's the best pure passer in the draft. He's the toughest college quarterback I have ever witnessed. The most deadly accurate thrower of the football in all of college football has not been drafted over 3 rounds. The clutchest quarterback I saw in all of college football, again and again and again, has not been drafted for 3 effing rounds of the draft. Why is that? Is it about football or is it personal? The NFL should be ashamed. Sheuder and his father got blackballed, or if you want to call it whiteballed, call it whiteballed. Whatever it was, they got balled out. They got voted out. It's like a secret memo was distributed. Don't take him. Let's teach him a lesson. Let's teach Deion a lesson. You can't act like that. It's got to be personal because it cannot be about football. So if it's not football, what is it? Are there racial undertones here? Racist undertones? But it just stinks. It smells of racist undertones, of too many white people in charge in this league who just roll their eyes at both father and son at Colorado. I think it's personal because I think they said, we're going to teach Deion a lesson because you can't have a DJ in the locker room before games and at halftime. I think they said, let's teach the father a lesson that you can't let the kid make $3 million a year in college football and drive 3 or 4 different exotic cars and drape himself with all kinds of NFL-style high-pick jewelry, superstar jewelry. You can't let him tap his watch. It's my time. Hey, I'm here to tell you, none of that matters. If you can play, you can play. Neon Dion was as brash and arrogant as you could get. But he worked hard at his craft, and he was the greatest cornerback ever, and he backed it up. Nobody ever backed up brash and arrogant more than Deion Sanders backed it up. On the football field, on the baseball field at the highest level, on the track and field at the highest level. Greatest athlete I ever saw was Deion Sanders. Deion is not a detriment to his son. He is an all-time positive. Greatness flows through this kid's veins. He's it. He's a winner. He's a leader. If you spend any time around, he's really a good young man. I don't understand any of this. He did an interview. Is he confident? Yeah. Is he cocky? I don't know. How do you, where's that fine line between confident and cocky? Can he back it up? You better believe he can back it up. He was raised around greatness, and he will step onto an NFL field wherever he goes, wherever it is. He's going to go somewhere. Somebody's going to give him some shot. Wherever he goes, he's going to step on the football field like he belongs on it, because he was raised to believe he belongs on it. As he tweeted going into the draft, I'm built for this, for whatever happens, great or bad, I'm built. He was built for this.
The problem is he grew up in a functional household. He grew up with structure. He grew up with a daddy at that. He grew up going to some of the best schools, and if we're being honest, he has a lot of confidence. All of these attributes and qualities, owners, they don't like that. They don't like that at all. They want you to come in and your coach becomes your daddy. And they know that that will not happen with Sheuder. They know that that will not happen with any of the Sanders kids, because they grew up with confidence. They grew up knowing who exactly they were. They grew up in a household with a daddy who, first of all, played the game. We're going to start off there. And I think we also need to understand that the NFL is still very different from the NBA. So when we look at Bronny and his, dad's nepotism having influence and power on his experience, the NFL is still a very, very, very different field, very different league. There are a lot of owners in the NBA, or partial owners, who are black people. It's a completely different club. The NFL has, to my knowledge, still almost all white or non-black ownership. Let that sink in. This has nothing to do with this boy's talent. It has every single thing to do with, 1, trying to show him a lesson, 2, trying to show that Deion Sanders, you're nobody to us, and 3, boy, you're just a player. You're a boy in the field.
Teams that I won't allow him to play for. Whoa. This is my profession. I know what's behind the curtain. We ain't got to get back there for me to understand what's not prominent for my son. I'm not doing it. Ain't
and
no
if he doesn't
world.
listen to you?
Who? No, you must mean owners, like not my son.
Have you told him privately who you would like for him to play for?
It's not like who I would like for him to play for. It's a couple teams that I won't allow him to play for.
Daniel Jones just wasn't good. I don't get it. It's the Mitch Trubisky, there's just something about a pocket passer that just, it's these white owners, dude, that just go, there's something about Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, man.
That's too much, bro.
I don't trust them.
They got But
Daniel Jones,
why though?
Coming out of Duke, that's our guy.
Wait, but
Sir, like, I mean, they just went to the national championship. Like, why? Though?
Yeah, but it's like, why is he moving around too much? He's just like,
like, would you really let him date your daughter? Like,
yeah, like no.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I know he just won a championship, but it's like, I mean, who's that kid that caught the touchdown? Hunter Renfrow? That kid can play. Now that guy, he can play.
Like
he's got grit. He's got just a locker room guy.
What do you mean by that?
He's just like first one in, last one out kind of guy, you know?
Deshaun's always with him.
Well, it's like, again, why are you mobile? Like, why are you throwing on the run? It's like, no. Anyways, in that draft, that's what it reminded me of.
Oh,
they took Daniel Jones at 6, and I was like,
crazy.
The Cleveland Browns select Sheuder Sanders.
I'm about to make a name for myself here.
I know you belong to somebody new, but you know you belong to me.
If anything should happen to you, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably move on and get another replica, but there'd be a 10-minute period there when I would just be inconsolable.
Well. Sheuder Sanders has been selected round 5, the 144th pick to the Cleveland Browns. Congratulations, young black man. But the NFL, aka modern day slavery plantation, cannot stand a black kid who had a strong father in his life. That's why they love the black kids that was raised solely by their black mothers. And the reason why, if you're raised by a strong black father, you can't not be manipulated, or you're not gonna bend so easy. When you raised solely by a single black mother, she teaches you to bend, to be submissive, because that's what a woman's nature is. It's not a man's nature. And then on top of that, having a black father who is the all-time great in the NFL, they already know what type of mentality Sheuder has, Shiloh has, and the Sanders boy has. They don't want to deal with it. It's called racism.
If they take over coaching like everybody wants them to, there's not going to be anything left for the white people. I mean, all the players are black. I mean, the only thing that the whites control is the coaching jobs. Now, I'm not being derogatory about it, but that's all that's left for them. The black talent is beautiful. It's great. It's out there. So the only thing left for the whites is a couple coaching jobs.
Yeah, maybe we need to get more black coaches, don't you?
Oh, it's all right with me.
Okay, well,
I'm sure that they'll take over that pretty soon, too.
You want me to tell you why there aren't any black executives? I'm not going to tell you it's because the blacks aren't intelligent enough. I'm going to tell you because it is that whites have been running the establishment of broadcasting, just as they've been running the establishment of baseball for too long, and seem to be reluctant to give up power.
But let's say what it is, that there is a sense that the black can work in the field. He can work in the cotton field, he can work on the ball field. But ask a black to use his brain, run a team, plan a team. Oh my goodness, you're talking about real integration.
That they're not discussing about
you know, how Tom Brady is influencing the last 2 years of Sheuder. And if you look at the last 2 years, I'm just talking about the last 2 years, the number of records Sheuder has not only broke, but the football player of the year, right? He went from one college to another college. And so this part of this narrative around Sheuder, they're not highlighting that point about Tom Brady. Because once you highlight that point that you just highlighted, now you got to say, well, Tom Brady didn't go in the first round. Tom Brady didn't go in the second round. And so this is, again, a double standard, as it was already brought out by Matt and Michael. The last point I would make is this, Roland. I want to hear somebody talk about the nepotism of Donald Trump and how he's allowing his children to enrich themselves on taxpayers. Let's talk about that. That's a different kind of politics that doesn't involve in throwing a football, but it negatively impacts millions of people. If we draw that parallel of what's happening on the football field to what's happening in the United States, they don't want that narrative to be discussed.
Well, first of all, if you want to talk about nepotism in the NFL, all you can do is look at the coaches, where sons and uncles and just they get jobs so easy, and black coaches don't. So, bottom line is, I think Sheuder Sanders, look, he's going to play in the NFL. He's going to be a great quarterback. And you're going to have haters. What they also cannot stand is they cannot stand black confidence. They absolutely cannot. They can't stand it. And I guess to some degree, some of these white coaches can't stand what they may want to call black privilege because of how they grew up. Well, guess what? Suck it up. And here's the deal. Not all Deion's sons can play. His son, Deion Sanders Jr., he's the video guy. He's the social media guy. He's not there playing. So that's how it is. So just people just need to understand that these things happen. Look, the NFL, you're going to have these white coaches, these white executives. They do this all the time, the whisper campaign, and effectively knock them out in the first round.
If anybody tries to tell you that this Sheuder Sanders thing was not intentional, just watch this clip of the Browns GM after day 2 of Sheuder not getting picked.
Industry. All I can say is this, the time that we spent with Sheuder, and what he's done throughout his college career is impressive. He's an impressive young man. He's a really good quarterback. Sometimes, fit comes into play. And I'd also say this, there are 4 more rounds of the draft.
That was a man that admitted to loving everything about Sheuder Sanders. Loved the way he met him, loved his character. The number 2 quarterback ranked on this board, and his team needed a quarterback. And then he proceeds to end it with being like, well, there's more rounds, because you knew that y'all were drafting him later on purpose to what? Humble him.
So that's it. It's over, it's done, it's finished, just like that. This kid gets picked in the 5th round, and the NFL is not going to come on and give us an explanation what happened. like we're all a bunch of dummies just sitting around. Like, you're not going to tell us why this kid didn't get picked in the top 5 picks. I mean, this is just insane. I can't believe nobody's got the balls or the courage to come in front of TV, in front of on a mic, and come and tell everybody this is the stance and this is why that this happened in the National Football League. I don't know. We didn't like him. We directed all the teams not to pick him. We have a problem with his dad. We got some beef here, some beef there. But nobody owes us an explanation, right? We just continue to support the NFL, spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on all your games, supporting all the commercials that you're collecting millions upon millions. but you don't know what's an explanation. And you basically just put this kid through the ringer. And you just put his family through hell and back. Thank God, I gotta be honest with you, watching this whole thing happen, to me it's full on bully tactics. Thank God that God forbid this kid would have went into a deep hole or deep depression and made national news. This Sheuder goes on and takes his own life because the depression was so horrible about the bully tactics. Shame on the NFL. I mean, I gotta tell you, I understand the personality, I understand the big time, I understand the things that you demand to happen in your league. But you know, my platform here does everything they can to support children that are being bullied, as 4,800 children every year take their lives due to bullying. And what you just showed to the world, at least to the United States of America, that bully tactics are okay. And they should be allowed. And it should be on the big stage, on the big screen. And what do you think when kids watch this that you were trying to make, leave a clear message, but children are going to watch this and say, well, if the NFL can do it, well, why can't I do it too? You know, we got junior high school, elementary school, high school, you know, teachers aren't doing anything about it. So, you know what? Who cares? If the NFL can do this to Deion Sanders' son, well, I surely can wake up in the morning and continue to pick on that other kid that everybody else is picking on, because who cares, right? Who cares in this world? Nobody's gonna do anything about it. And that's all I gotta say about that. I think it was a pretty shitty tactic from the NFL. And I think you guys, I gotta tell you, I think you're gonna lose some fans over this, and I definitely think you're gonna need to do better. And that's all I can say about that. Midnight, I am out. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Hey everyone, I'm sitting outside in the back porch, so if you hear some noise, please overlook it. But let me say a couple things about Sheuder Sanders and why he fell to the 5th round, the 144th pick of the NFL draft, when the young man has such great talent. Won two championships at Jackson State and HBCU, set all sorts of records in Boulder, Colorado. There's no reason in the world, except for what I'm going to tell you in just a moment, for him to have gone that low in the draft. In my opinion, he should have went first. That's how gifted and talented Sheuder Sanders is. But he made a huge mistake that many African-American men have made in the past. And that is, he refused to bow. He refused to surrender. He refused to be anyone other than himself. He wrote a script and a narrative for himself that was inconsistent with the script the NFL want for him and for other African-American men. And that cost him. That cost him a lot of money, because the further he dropped, the more money he started losing. So it's an age-old type of racism that I'm talking about. It's the kind of racism during Jim Crow where that required black men to drop their head when they spoke to a white man. It's the kind of what I call the uppity Negro type of racism that caused the death of Emmett Till. It caused Muhammad Ali to lose everything he had for refusing to bow. And that is Sheuder, and he got it honest. He got it from his father, Deion, who also refused to bow. Those guys are outspoken, they're bold, they are, again, they are unbowed, and that is not what gets you the rewards in a white supremacist system like the one we live in. If you don't, I think, what's the term? The new term is code switch, I think is the term. If you don't code switch, if you don't scratch when you don't itch, or if you don't laugh when things are not funny, then you frighten whites. You frighten white supremacists especially, because, again, you have not been emasculated. you're still a strong black man. And that is a frightening thing in America. Okay? And for Western countries, period. You are expected to bow. And the more you bow, the more you will be rewarded. This young man did not come from a stock of people, Deion Sanders and his mother, who are accustomed to bowing. That's what cost him. That's why he went 144th in the 5th round of a 7-round draft, although he was arguably the best quarterback in this draft. All right? So I call it the uppity Negro type of racism. It's a particular brutal type of white supremacy that over the years have gotten black men lynched, lost positions, and all sorts of things for that one reason, not bowing, not surrendering. I know all about that form of racism. I've dealt with it my entire life because I too am not an emasculated black man.
Now, for an original video on this topic that everybody has already made an amazing handful of theories on, or at least perspectives on, the NFL is buck breaking Sheuder Sanders for Deion because they can't directly get to Deion. And I'm going to go be the one to say all the things that aren't supposed to be said. It's a group of, it's not one, it's a group of either executives, leaders, owners that have come together and hate Deion and hate what he's doing. And also they hate the fact that after all that they've said about him at Colorado, him at Jackson State, he's proved them wrong. And the only thing he does, instead of talking directly to the haters, is says, thank you, Jesus, for giving me an opportunity to keep going. Thank you, Jesus, for giving me an opportunity to win. How crazy is that? He doesn't even look at his haters. He looks up. He says, you know what? That's the devil working dark magic. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to keep on believing in Jesus. And somehow, and he's there for his son. His son isn't a degenerate fuck like a bunch of these kids in the NFL and the NBA. He supports his son through opportunities. He makes sure that his son isn't getting fucked like you like to fuck other fatherless boys' kids, whether it's literally or figuratively, in these plantation systems and the athletic organizations. Nobody wants to talk about that. I'll talk about it. Oh, do you guys want to talk about how many of these football players with white girlfriends are actually being financially funded by the parents of that white girlfriend until they get to the league? And then the return on investment is a black baby is going to come out of that white. You guys don't think, though. You guys don't fucking think. Where is Sheuder's issues with baby mamas? Where is Sheuder's issues with taking drugs and being strung out or DUIs on the road? Stetson Bennett everybody look up Stetson Bennett right now. Please let Stetson Bennett be the search of this fucking video. But, oh, and also another thing that ties me into this, knowing that it's buck breaking and it's just pure like racism. You guys hate having conversations about slavery and all that. Very fitting, because what I'm about to tell you is about to scare the fuck out of you. Yeah, these slave masters were not just assaulting women. Children and men were also a part of that. This is the buck-breaking process I'm speaking about. And what's very disgusting, before I say interesting, because that's not interesting, what's very disgusting about this circumstance is that there's a different reason for assaulting and abusing each role, because it's not the assault that you're trying to use to destroy the psyche of the person. Bodily damage is just the in-between to what the goal is of the abuser in this circumstance. The abuser wants you, the victim, to remember what your role is. I apologize I didn't give a trigger warning beforehand, but now we're getting into a conversation about SA. Again, this isn't proven fact, but as somebody who studies power dynamics and toxicity and narcissism, one of the very aligning perspectives that I've been able to catch in my research and understanding of these topics is the abuser, even if they say, I didn't know how to control myself. Shut the fuck up. You're an adult, bro. The point is, you are less than me. so I can dominate you. And now, once I've dominated you, you are less than human. So you deserve this. To take responsibility off of me from wanting you to be 6 feet under while you walk with your 10 toes on the same land that I have to walk on. To cure my insecurity of not being able to get you or to access you the righteous way, for being rejected by you. But it's a power fucking play. And now let's tie that conversation, the one that you guys never want to have, back into the buck breaking of Sheuder Sanders and the Sanders legacy. When we play the game fair, and this is funny, now I'm going to add in how it's funny how like white people love talking about DEI and how like we as black people don't earn shit. The second the game isn't going your way and it starts to hurt your feelings, you rig the whole thing from the back end. But this again, it's to remind black people everywhere, to remind the Sanders family specifically, and to point through Deion's kid directly at Deion in the face in the most disgusting, subtle form of like lifestyle sabotage ever. Say, remember, you and your whole family of animals are just niggers to us. Sorry I had to use the word, but this is how they speak. And you know why I know they use these words behind closed doors? Because I don't know if you guys saw that one meeting, or not even a meeting, it was a dinner, that the donors, the top level donors and investors of the NFL organization were holding. You know what was weird about that dinner? Other than the fact that all of the families and the invitees were white, all the servers were stars in the NFL. But you know what was similar about them? They were all black, serving. And what is the point of that? The psychological warfare in that is, remember who the fuck you are. You may have $1 million, you may have a mansion, you may have the baddest girl on the block. We don't give a fuck. Your salvation comes from us. And the second you even as much as snarl at the hand that feeds you, we will beat you to a fucking pulp. But we won't kill you. We're going to leave you within an inch of your life, so you know that we are the only people that can bring you back. And we won't even bring you back. We will just allow you to come back to life so we can continue to do this and then create the most disgusting inner psychological destruction to get you to perpetuate the abuse of your abuser in your own mind, destroying your own life, blocking your own blessings and opportunities, while your abuser can now go find new prey because you are taken care of. And they don't have to take care of you. You can take care of yourself while they're going finding other people to manipulate and abuse into taking care of themselves in that same way. Now, I'm not going to tell us to stop playing football, I'm not going to tell us to stop playing football or sports, but American sports that are like paid are just like this. And I hope that we can start to realize that we can create just as amazing opportunities, creating our own leagues, running our own communities, like doing our own shit. Because at the end of the day, it's not even the NFL that matters or any of these sports leagues. It's about attention. It's about selling ads, maintaining attention. Half of the games are rigged anyway. It doesn't even fucking matter because it's all about gambling at the end of the day. And if it's not about gambling, it's about protecting the entertainment nature of the league. And one thing that we, again, not one thing, but another thing that we don't want to address in our society is that I'm going to believe now a much more significant aspect of this than I wanted to believe beforehand. But with Trump going into office, I think that was just like the green card for a lot of you red hat people to remind us that you're racist as fuck. And holding you to account to not be racist is more difficult for you than you just not being racist and being able to exist with the rest of us, where you're like, your humanity isn't stemmed from like stepping on the throats and necks of everybody outside of you because you're so afraid and hating of them, but you don't know why. Final 2 points we'll leave off with here. The entertainment nature that I'm speaking about in America specifically is racism. And if you black people or marginalized people the sooner you wake up to that, the more you realize how much you are a part of the joke that's being laughed at, and you aren't even being compensated for being laughed at or abused at sometimes. So you might as well start finding the relationships, the communities, the opportunities that provide you some kind of mutual benefit for the inevitable and the inherent value that we put out, rather than continuing to seek for validation, acceptance from people who were literally, look at Pete Hegseth. These people are DEI as fuck. Like, none of these certifications matter. None of their tests, none of their experiment, like, nothing they do matters. They're just going to look in the mirror, or no, they're just going to look at the fucking options they have to pick from, see somebody that looks like them and somebody that doesn't, and they're going to pick the person that looks like them, even if that person has the potential of blowing up a school, bro. Over the person who will have every single, if not more, qualifications met for whatever that position is. American racism will be the downfall of itself as long as the people who the racism is being projected onto just give up and let America itself. It's ignorance at the end of the day, and ignorance decays any living thing, bro, under its own two fucking hands, bro. It's like a starving baby that just doesn't eat and then dies of starvation. Not that it's the baby's fault, but it's like, dude, like, what the fuck did you think was gonna happen? Like, food is gonna, like, show up in your belly?
I know y'all don't like what I'm about to say. Wow, hello. Most of these NFL owners is well into their 70s, 80s, and 90s. They been drafting niggas longer than you been alive. And one thing about a rich NFL owner, he specializes in niggas. He know everything about an athletic nigga. He know what he like in middle school. They know everything. They done called everybody and got the report sheet on this nigga. Cause they finna get this nigga a lot of money and they finna bring this nigga into the plantation. The family's business. The Jones family, whatever name of the family. So they gonna get to meet the daughter, especially if he a face of the organization type nigga. So we gonna bring this nigga in here.
Jerry, your thoughts on the Washington Post article and how the picture they painted of you from a picture when you were 14 years old?
Yeah, that was, 65 years ago, and a curious kid. I didn't know at the time the monumental event, really, that was going on, and I'm sure glad that we're a long way from that. I am, and we just that would remind me just continue to do everything we can to not have those kinds of things happen.
Any regrets just being in the photo, being there at all?
What?
Any regrets on being in the photo, being there at all?
Well, I wouldn't have just dug that up for sure. Right. I mean, seriously, but that was curiously.
Well, I just finished this series, and the first thing I noticed was like it was so many white girls, and then the second thing I noticed was the first people they were cutting were the black and brown girls. I don't know, y'all, what y'all think.
So yesterday I was watching the NFL draft, and a lot of black guys got picked in the first round. But do y'all know all them black guys who got picked in the first round yesterday had a white girl sitting at their table, a white woman sitting at their table representing them. No sisters. It was no sisters with these guys when they got drafted. This is where we headed? Once you get success, you just automatically just leave a sister out? I mean, is this a trend now? Is this a trend? Because every one of them who stood up and hugged their family, it was a white girl right there. I just don't know where this shit is heading, man. Like, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. It's some great goddamn sisters out here that could have been sitting at that table with y'all yesterday. It's a lot of great black women out here, man. But it seems like once y'all get a taste of that success, man, the first thing y'all go do is run and go get y'all a white girl, man. You know, you can love who you can love. I'm okay with that. But to see all them black men yesterday, not have a sister at the table with them, not have a high school girlfriend at the table with them, not have a childhood girlfriend at the table with them, but a white girl. But this what success is, man, to these black guys, man. I'm telling y'all. Once they get a little fame, get a little money, get a little success, they gonna get them a white girl immediately and just erase the sisters from their lives, man. It was just sad to see, man. I'm not against who you don't love and all. I'm just saying, not one sister, brothers, not one sister at the table yesterday. 32 draft picks, not one sister. Shit is fucking insane, man.
And y'all are our niggas. With all your athletic talent, agility, and ability, it belongs to us. When I retire your jersey, nigga, your people can't claim fame to that name. It's in my stadium. I bring my family, my friend, and say, look at my niggas. Look at the boy, them boy, remember that nigga there? He was in the ghetto. I brought him and drafted him from the ghetto. He's on ESPN now. These are bragging rights, and these niggas are trophies to rich white men who own nigga, man. It's no different.
Look at my niggas.
Man, you don't think they do that when they be in them boxes? That's my nigga. Look at him. Look at him. I brought him out the ghetto. His mama didn't have a husband. I went down there and met him. He just say, man, I met Mrs. They had roaches. Nigga, you think they don't be saying that? They're my niggas. Look at him. Go, nigga. You don't think they don't be saying, Jerry Jones, them don't be saying that? These are bragging rights, and these niggas are trophies to rich white men who own nigga, man. It's no different.
Look at my niggas.
Man, you don't think they do that when they be in them boxes? That's my nigga. Look at him. Look at him. I brought him out the ghetto. His mama didn't have a husband. I went down there and met him. He just say, man, I met Mrs. Business. They had roaches. Nigga, you think they don't be saying that? They're my niggas. Look at him. Go, nigga. You don't think they don't be saying, Jerry Jones, them don't be saying that? He's my niggas. I changed his life.
No, when you put in perspective like that's low key the truth.
Homie, why you think they only bring certain players around their families? All players don't get to come around. Why you think they got a franchise player? I got a franchise tag on this nigga. This my nigga. Why you think when LeBron left Cleveland, that white man called him like a runaway slave? Nigga, my nigga done run away. This my nigga. He come out of, man, this my nigga. Nigga, come on back home. LeBron, back to Cleveland. Nigga, you got to come back anyway. Where you want to retire? Akron or L.A.? Every nigga want to come back home.
I was saying the only true way to create change is through revolution.
What would create change if all the NFL players say, nigga, we ain't playing football this year. Yeah. Nigga, fuck, we ain't playing. Let them go get a bunch of white boys. And they go try to find walk-on warehouse workers and forklift drivers and FedEx drivers. And it ain't no more fast-running niggas that can catch the ball with one hand. It ain't no more niggas that can juke a nigga, spin around, juke. It ain't no more of them kind of niggas. It's just a white boy that can pocket throw the ball. It's just all white boys. No speed, no agility, all fundamentals. The game go be boring. They need them niggas. But them niggas don't know if they said, nigga, we sitting out this year. We finna go play throw up tackle. If niggas did that, then nigga, we would cripple the NFL.
This is a moral issue that needs to be addressed today. When in 1946, when the NFL was forced to reintegrate, because from 1933 to 1945, the all-white NFL didn't want any blacks in the industry. They said the black players were slowing down its growth. And then Fritz Pollard developed the Negro Football League. And after World War II, there was a big push for the Negro League to compete with the all-white NFL. So what they did was they took the good players from the Negro League and integrated them into the all-white NFL. And now, since 1946, the black players have taken it to $1 billion plus market, yet we have no owner within the industry. We are the record breakers and the trendsetters, yet we have no voice within the industry. NFL owners are guaranteed profits annually without even a fan going into the stadium, yet players have no guaranteed contracts. This is plantation capitalism going on right now.
NFL might have the craziest racial history of all American sports. It's so crazy they had to be integrated twice. So in the 1920s, the NFL tolerated black players, meaning they kept some in the league, but never more than 2 on a team, and some teams didn't even have the common decency to do that. Until one day, league ownership decided to cut their whole black labor force to a whopping 0. An alleged gentleman's agreement, their words not mine, was struck between the teams to keep black players out the league. And this agreement held for about 12 years. Now, the league historically has denied that this agreement ever existed, but let's examine our sources, shall we? Bears founder George Halas, who is directly quoted as saying, he'd never play on a team with a on it again, after Fritz Pollard and co. put the belt to him and his Bears. Giants founder Tim Mara, whose team until this very day has never employed a black head coach, and fired the whole front office and coaching staff the one time they accidentally started a black QB. And finally, Washington founder George Preston Marshall, notorious racist, who purposely changed his team name to a racial slur, made sure said team was the last to employ a black player, saying, quote, I will sign black players when the Harlem Globetrotters start signing white players, until he was literally forced by John F. Kennedy, yes, that one, to do so, because it was embarrassing for the nation's Capitals team to be so racist, which, historically speaking, is an outrageously high bar to cross. So yeah, you pick which side you want to believe on that one.
Sure there was. They do it the same way today. They gather all the men together and then auction them off to the highest bidder.
Before they put you on the field, teams poke, prod, and examine you, searching for any defect that might affect your performance. No boundary respected. No dignity left intact.
Okay, and then if you can't see this, there's a bunch of guys who are getting checked out at the combine with their shirts off. And then they walk out of the combine and into a graphic of them with chains on them being auctioned off as slaves.
Also, I think that there's some interesting similarities with the NFL draft. I heard Minister Farrakhan allude to this, and I agree with him. And so if you look at the NFL draft, the players are evaluated based on their physical attributes, right? They say, okay, look at how high he can jump. Look at how strong that Negro is. Look at how fast he can run, right? And so with slave auctions, same thing. They will put them up on a big block and look at how strong they were and look at how tall they were and what their age were. Look at their teeth and, stuff like that. And then come up with a conclusion like, okay, this Negro I'll pay this amount for, but this one I'll only pay that amount for because they're a little fatter or a little older or a little whatever, right? And so the NFL draft is interesting because not only are the assets, and remember, all these players are seen as assets. They are financial assets, similar to slavery. You have owners, just like you did in slavery. Most of those owners are white. Actually, all the NFL majority owners are white. I don't think there's not a black majority owner in the NFL, right? All the owners are white. Most of the great athletes are black, even though you have some whites in there as well, right? So it's not just a black-white thing. It's just we tend to dominate on the athletic side. They dominate on the business ownership and economic side. And then also, if you know the life of an NFL athlete, it is one in which the owner that purchases the rights to you pretty much feels like he has control over your life. I don't know if anybody in here has played in the NFL or has had a sibling or spouse in the NFL. I remember talking to a student in the Black Business School who told me that her husband got drafted to the NFL, and it was when she was in college. She's a real pretty lady, and he left. He was good enough where he left college in his junior year to go play for the Seahawks. And like most NFL players, though, his career was very short. NFL players do not have long careers. The average NFL career is about 2.5 years. So he was, and his was even shorter than that. I think he played for about a year. And then, did you say my brother, Junior Seau? Junior Seau, is Junior Seau your brother? Tell me, did somebody say that Junior Seau is their brother? First of all, Junior Seau was a bad boy. That was a great athlete. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Okay. Well then, oh, all right. Well, first of all, my condolences because I heard how the story ended. Um, and that actually takes us to our next point. But then at the same time, that's pretty awesome because he was a great player. But at the same time, thank you for mentioning that. There's that other point that I didn't get to yet, which is the significant health consequences that occur as a result of making that sacrifice of being an NFL player. So let me tell you. I'll tell you two separate stories. First of all, I'm still kind of stunned that sibling of Junior Seau's here, but yeah, again, much respect to you and your family. So this woman that married the NFL player, I remember she told me that she said, well, he got drafted and we moved to Seattle. I said, well, what was that like? She said, I hated it. I said, why did you hate it? She said, because they controlled every single ounce of his life. We couldn't, it seemed like we couldn't do anything. We never had time to do anything together. They control where we were allowed, where we were allowed to live and what we were able to do. And if they wanted us to jump, we had to say how high because that was the only job that he could get in the NFL because it wasn't like he could say, well, I'm mad. I'm going to go play for the Cowboys. You couldn't really, you had to get traded, right? Traded like an asset. You can't just you can't just do like, an employee at Google that says, I'm going to go work for Microsoft. You can do that. In the NFL, they have the rights to a monopoly, which allows them to control and restrain the supply and the cost of labor. And that sort of monopoly, or maybe it would be actually an oligopoly or cartel. Cartel would be the better term to use. In a cartel, cartels are illegal in every other industry in America. Did y'all know that? The only couple of areas, there are just a few areas where cartels are allowed, and a couple are the NFL and the NCAA, right? And so effectively, imagine if you worked at Google and you say, I think I want to leave. I'm going to work for Apple. And imagine if Apple and Google were colluding and Apple just agreed that they will never hire anybody from Google. Google will never hire anybody from Apple. And that they're all going to keep your salary at a certain price. That's sort of what the NFL is allowed to do, right? So anyway, she said that in the first season, he got injured. Once he got injured, they put him on the sidelines. I think they cut him from the team. And so like a lot of young guys, who dedicate their entire lives to sports because I think athletic ability is a gift and a curse to the black man. It's a gift because it's allowed a very small percentage of us to achieve the highest heights and rise to the highest levels of society. But it's a curse because it's such a valuable lottery ticket that you have millions of little boys that bet everything on that lottery ticket. They invest every nickel into that, every ounce of energy into that. They invest their soul into this dream of becoming an NFL or NBA player, and 99.9% of them never make a penny playing sports. Right. So what this does is it creates this massive waste product, if you will. Not that these human beings are waste, but when I talk about a waste product, I'm talking about, just a lot of young men who did not develop their skills in other areas. They became great at basketball or football, but they did not become great at reading. They did not become great at writing. They did not become great at math. They did not become great at entrepreneurship or other ways of making money. And then also in some cases, like in the case of this woman's husband, he developed a lot of other bad habits that come with sports/hip hop culture. And one of the things that we don't confront enough in the black community is the toxic side of sports and hip hop culture. And what do I mean by that? Well, the other day I saw Chad Ochocinco and Shannon Sharp and Gilbert Arenas, three extraordinary former professional athletes who were commenting on why Amanda Seales is not married.
The brain you built in basketball and use it for business.
Yes, Lord.
I don't think he's been invited back, but he should be there every time, because all that is transmutation, is changing discipline. One of our impediments as a people is, number one, we celebrate athletics more than we do academics for our children. That's bad math. The other thing is we put our children in the sports, and so do white people. But white people put their children in sports to extract the principles from it. And we put our children in sports to become a professional at it. And whenever they go in and we go in, they too are in the little league. They too are in Pop Warner. They there. But because they're going in there to extract principles from it, if they don't make it to the NBA or the NFL, they take the sacrifice they learned, the discipline, the hard work, the working through fatigue, the teamwork, the categorization of personal life problems and still being able to perform a task, and they take that to their law firm or their insurance agency or their dental office, and they just take discipline over there with them and become great in that. But we got our mind wrapped up 100%. If I'm going to the league, I'm going to the league, I'm going to the league, I'm going to be in the NFL, and if it don't happen, now you got a brother with a broken spirit. Right now, Brother Cam, there's 500,000 black boys playing high school basketball. Only 17,000 of them will actually make it to college to play basketball.
On a scholarship.
And on a scholarship. And out of them 17,000, only 44 of them will make it to the NBA. And out of the 44 that make it to the NBA, only 7 of them will get a starting position. And the average career of the one that did get a starting position is only 5 to 7 years. So there's 500,000 black boys competing for 7 full-time jobs that ain't gonna last for 7 years.
It's heavy.
I don't know, that's bass awkward. You ain't catch that.
Bass awkward.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
So we have to, what your brother's saying, he's telling you, but this is a universal message we all need to know.
No, for sure.
If you became proficient in any sport, you have a greater calling on your life, and you can take that discipline that you use and all the principles from it and go into anything and be a master of it. And if you find exactly, specifically what you're born to do, that's where happiness comes from.
Yeah.
You know,